do a lot of research on what other teams are doing. What did your research over the course of the winter focus on? And did part of that we were told you wanted to talk to Pete Carroll? Did that ever happen?
Pete Carroll?
Yes.
No, I don't really know Coach Carroll very well.
We were told that you wanted to.
Oh, I don't know. I admire the way, you look at the way his teams played in college and then also obviously the NFL. And I made that comment, but I don't really know Coach very well. We've done a lot of research on offense. Obviously, we researched teams that run similar schemes that we run. We had Texas A&M and Clemson come visit us. I think that's pretty well documented. On defense, obviously with transition of staff, we want to be a quarters team, and Coach Ash has an extensive background, but we haven't stopped there. We keep adding. Coach Giano was actually here today, a great friend of mine, and he's spent some time with me about defense. And so yeah, we've done a lot. This is a great time of year to really study the game, and I think we've done a good job. So now we got to see improvement on the field.
Front row, Dave.
Coach, in the spring, do you guys only work on yourself, or is there any part of spring where you guys work on little facets of how much you're going to play?
Well, we open up with Navy, and so I haven't made that decision, and a lot of it's going to be how we progress on defense. But I probably would take a day, maybe 2 days to work on Navy in the spring. If not, we're going to have to work a lot in the fall. So haven't made that decision yet.
And I know today was the first day of pads. How much do you guys live scrimmage during the spring? Would you say it's a lot? Like, how much do you guys actually go?
Well, there's rules, and I want to say full scrimmage, you're only allowed the spring game and 2 other ones, if I remember right.
Even within practice, like how much do you guys like it?
Oh, we go against each other. It's called thud tempo, and we'll do a lot of that, especially with a young team. Last year maybe not as much because you had, 4 returning linemen, and on defense you had a bunch of new guys, so we scrimmage them a little bit more. But it depends on the experience of your team. Well, this outfit will get more live situations than last year's.
Front row, Bill.
Could you address the quarterback situation with Carroll?
Cardell's running with the ones right now. JT had a better day. Didn't start off real well, but finished pretty well. And then obviously Braxton stands right behind him and gets all the mental reps like Kenny Guyton used to last year. So, but Carroll, I'm not. I mean, you talk about a changed guy. He was a guy that couldn't get out of his own way a couple years ago, and then now he's starting to see the progress in the classroom and acting like. You remember the famous tweet or whatever? It's a different guy, which had to be a different guy. He wouldn't be here.
And about the running backs, is it fair to say that Ezekiel is at least at the top of the pecking right now?
Not yet. I think maybe from last year. He earned it from last year. But Rod Smith's going really hard. Briante had a good day today. So it's not. He's not the one yet. Hasn't earned it yet.
Tim.
Yeah, I didn't mean Chuck a while ago you talked about Navy, but everybody's talking about your pass defense, and you opened with Navy, which would be the opposite kind of test, right?
Right.
What I want to ask you about is today y'all were in pads and hitting.
Right.
What'd you see out of them coming out of the break, coming out of the spring break? What was your message to them, I guess, about this sort of sprint to April 20th?
Well, I think I just go back and the day we walked off the field of the Orange Bowl to now. I'm the kind of person that, we don't blame and complain and defend, and, we call it BCD. There's not a whole lot of BCD around here. We're going to find out what the issue is and fix it. And obviously there's some issues. And the common, if you're blame and complain, you're going to blame players and blame coaches. We don't do that. We try to find out the issue and fix the issue. Obviously, if you got insubordination or bad people, you got to eliminate things, but we don't have that here. And so and this is kind of deep stuff. I actually talked about it at the coaches thing, the State Coaches Association. I got to make sure that we're clarity of purpose of culture here at Ohio State, and it's not scared of making a mistake. It's not the timid. It's a very aggressive approach to everything we do. We go block punts. You know what? We're going to run into a punter once in a while. We try to score a lot of points. We on defense, we don't play defense the way I want it played. I want an aggressive defense and not worried about things. And every once in a while you might give up a big play. That's much more appealing to me than that just when you watch them just giving up yards. I want to create issues for the offense. So I want to make sure the culture is clear, and to say that. And I put that on myself. I want to make sure there's clarity of purpose at Ohio State, so we spend a lot of time on that.
Today, are you seeing that kind of come around?
Yeah. That's so early, Tim. We're Von Bell going down really hurt us.
Yeah.
He'll be back. I mean, it's not ACL, it's MCL, and we just, You just got to get all your moving parts. There's going to be certainly some freshmen coming in and get in the mix right away. You know, Eric Smith and some of those kids, just because we don't have the numbers back there yet.
Second row, David.
Urban, I know it's still...
The guy that stepped up, excuse me, 1 second, the guy that is playing 4 to 6, which 4 to 6 seconds, is a kid named Darren Lee. I have no idea what he's doing, and he has no idea probably what he's, but I don't care. That's the thing. I want to make sure that culture's out there. You're not being graded on if the kid knows what he's doing right now. What you are being graded on as a unit leader and as a coach is, will the kid play as hard as he possibly can? There's never been a team in 27 years of coaching that I've seen the team that didn't play the hardest didn't win that game. And lack of execution and lack of technique you can overcome that with incredible effort. You can't overcome lack of effort with great technique. That doesn't happen. At some point you'll fail. So that's, once again, I'm just giving you I want to make sure that's out there, and I mean, these kids have heard that nonstop, and same with their coaching staff. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I know it's early, but what's your level of faith and concern in the offensive line right now? And when you kind of envision stepping up and the candidates to kind of be that few word leader?
Well, Taylor Decker's he's a product of culture. You know, there's a line coach here at Ohio State that developed a culture in an offensive line room. That every day that, you know, to say Taylor Decker, and this is not being disrespectful, the toughest guy in the world when he came here, no. But you sit in that meeting room with this line coach and with those 4 guys that just left. You know, same with Reed Fragel. Reed Fragel was a 3rd-string tight end that didn't play at all. Now all of a sudden he's playing pro football. How'd that happen? You know, it's because there was a culture developed in an offensive line room. And so Taylor Decker so far has been, you know, he's really grown into a very good player.
Front row left, Doug.
You mentioned Von Bell. How are you guys making up for these Cambrose?
Cambrose is back there. Yep. And Tyvus. And Darren Lee is the walkout nickel.
Okay. You guys use that walkout term. Is that?
It's a linebacker. Well, we got these 2 bodies. We got Worley. We got a kid named Fada, and you got Darren Lee. Darren Lee's running with the ones, and it's kind of a, you know, we want to have a stronger, more, you know, guy out there. The whole point for the bubble screens and all that stuff that hurt us last year. And but we'll also have a nickel, and that's where Eric Smith and Von Bell and those guys, when we come in, we'll have some good depth. Malik Hooker, so we'll have a little bit of depth at safety.
And then you had mentioned how you are limited in like full scrimmages you can do and that kind of thing. Is it ever possible in your mind that the spring game as we know it would ever go away, that you maybe could think you
I hate that.
out of it?
No, I'm not. I'm going to do it every year because I just think it's priceless for a player to get a rep in front of 50, 60, 70,000. If I was at a school where you get 400 people, yeah, you might, because what are you really getting? I just think you find out about a Dontre Wilson, you find out about Raekwon McMillan, Johnny Dixon, some of these kids that come on, how they perform when the lights go on. And at a place like Ohio State where you get a good crowd, I mean, even if I got to go a couple of times we've had like one line go both ways and all that, but we'll always, as long as we can, we'll always have a spring game.
Back row, Mark.
2 years in a row now you've had spring break interrupt spring practice. Is there an advantage to that? Is that something you might look to change?
The biggest reason we do it is I used to go 4 days a week, and if you go the 2, NCAA gives you when you practice 20 hours per week. So the 2 days we went in shorts, we still got the full 20 hours to meet with our players. So that's why I extended it 1 week, and we'll always do that now. And then also to have back-to-back, you know, you talk about health of players and safety of players, and I don't believe in, we just changed our routine since some studies have been done, and I've just been researching it, and we won't practice back-to-back in the spring.
Last 2 questions. Bill, go ahead.
Yeah, is there a guy, maybe a freshman, maybe not, who's kind of come out of nowhere?
Darren Lee is one of them. That's a good question. Darren Lee is one for sure. Raekwon's doing pretty good. Those are 2 just off the top of my head. He's a mature, very mature player. You know, he's a guy that's got some awareness to him.
And are there any injuries, anything?
Just Von Bell. Do we have anybody else? Yeah, that's all we got so far.
Tim, last question.
Oh, Eli Apple, look, the other day, he didn't seem to be doing much when we got to watch and stuff. Is he okay, or is he?
Yeah, he had a little bit of an infection. No, I don't want to, yeah, I think infection is probably the right word.
Yeah.
Medical situation. He practiced today.
Oh, he did?
And so they just had to pull him out for medical reasons.
What I want to add, when you guys had Texas A&M and staff in, and Clemson offensive staff in and stuff, What's the main thing you get out of something like that? I mean,
What you do is you study what they do well, and they study what we do well, and you try to clinic each other a little bit. For example, I thought Clemson did a good job with their jet series, and that means that sending Sammy Watkins in motion and the threat of a jet sweep, especially with a kid like that, is, and we got some guys who can run. So we're just trying to, how they timed it up, how they utilize the jet motion and the play action off it, those kind of things.
Coach, thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. Good to see you.